Late night. This past weekend, something happened that I can't shake off, and I need to get it out of my system. It's a story of instinct, awareness, and the kind of fear that lurks at the edges of a fun night out. It's not about me, but what I witnessed, and it's about the reality that so many women navigate every time they step out into the night. My friend and I, both in our mid-20s, had hit up a club for the usual reasons: dance, flirt, and let the night take us wherever it wanted. Clubs are funny places. You get this unspoken sisterhood among women, strangers hyping each other up, sharing knowing looks, and forming these fleeting alliances that sometimes feel safer than anything else. We were lost in the rhythm of the night, swaying to the beat when we met two other girls, close to our age. One wore a red dress, the other a floral one. We never got their names, but it was obvious they'd been drinking for a while. Red was tipsy but still coherent. Floral, though, was on the edge of blackout, glassy-eyed and wobbly, saying almost nothing. We were facing the DJ booth, lights pulsing in sync with the music, losing ourselves in the chaos. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a guy approach Floral. He slid in behind her, and soon they were grinding like they'd done it 100 times before. I figured he was her boyfriend, or maybe someone she'd come with. They moved together with that casual intimacy that made it seem like they were familiar. But then I heard it, barely audible over the pounding bass, him asking, "What's your name?" She didn't answer. Not a word. And suddenly, I knew something was off. But it was just a moment, a blip of discomfort that I tried to swallow down as they kept dancing, and the rest of us tried to keep the night light. Minutes passed, maybe more. It's hard to tell when time stretches in a blur of strobe lights and sweat. When I glanced back, Red was gone, and Floral looked wrong. Her eyes were empty, her face slick with sweat, but that wasn't what stopped me cold. It was his hand, snaked into her underwear, groping her in the middle of the dance floor like he owned the right. She hadn't spoken to him all night, hadn't given him a damn thing, and yet there he was, violating her in plain sight. I asked her, "Are you okay?" And finally, the girl who'd been silent all night, muttered one word, and oh. Something inside me snapped. I was on him before I even realized I'd moved, shouting over the music, "Get the fuck off her right now." He turned, tried to defend himself, his words slurred and meaningless, but I was past listening. I was past fear. I grabbed his shoulder, pulled him close enough to see whatever rage and disgust was burning in my eyes, and with a voice so calm it felt like ice, I told him, "You need to leave. Now." His hands shot up in surrender, his mouth still flapping with excuses, but he backed off and vanished into the crowd. I spun to Red, who had suddenly reappeared like she'd never left, and gripped her by the shoulder. "Your friend is not okay," I said, trying to break through whatever fog she was in. She just nodded, almost as if this was normal, like this kind of thing happened all the time, and they slipped away together, disappearing into the night. I pulled my friend aside, breathless and angry, relaying the whole thing to her, and the shock on her face mirrored the turmoil inside me. We flagged down security, described the guy, watched them escort him out, or so we thought. We tried to move on, to salvage whatever was left of the night. But as we danced again, trying to find that rhythm we'd lost, I spotted him, lurking in the shadows of the dance floor with that same twisted smirk. He never left. I can't stop thinking about that girl, about the darkness I might have stopped from swallowing her whole. I'll never forget the sick satisfaction on that guy's face, and it's a reminder of just how quickly a good night can turn into something else entirely. So please, be safe out there. And if you see something, anything, trust your instincts. You never know whose night, or life, you might end up saving.